from their dressing room come Wigan, led by their captain, the new man of steel, Andy Farrell, being watched by the crowd here on our huge video screen that has also been one of the features of this, the first Super League season. Andy Farrell knows that no Wigan side in the past 12 years has ended a season without a trophy. But here are the men who just might deny them. Bobby Goulding and the Saints. Stones, Super League winners 1996. Challenge Cup winners 1996. And they have got their army of supporters here to cheer them on to what they hope will be the Grand Slam in Super League, the treble. Sean McRae, quite rightly this week, was named the coach of the year. He has done a marvellous job. And the balloons head skywards, red, white and blue balloons. And the pre-match entertainment and preparations just about over. All we have to do now is give you the teams. The Saints have Prescott at fullback, Hayes, Hunt, Newlove, Sullivan, Martin, Goulding. Forwards, Perolini, Cunningham, Fogarty, McVie, Morley, Hammond. Bench, Picker, Vance, Haig, Booth and Arland. McRae the coach. And Graham West, the quiet man of Central Park, who goes about his work so diligently. And this is the team he has named. Radlinski at fullback, Robinson, Tuigamala, Connolly, Ellison, Paul and Edwards. Forwards, O'Connor, Hall and Skerritt, Horton, Cassidy and Farrell. Bench for them, Barrow, Murdoch, Cowie and Johnson. And the man with perhaps the biggest job of them all is David Campbell, the match referee, just pipped as referee of the year by his colleague Stuart Cummings this week. Vainga, Tuigamala, Bobby Goulding, stars aplenty. They will glitter on Sky Sports here at Old Trafford as we bring you this end of season Premiership final. The last one of a wonderful summer, Saints against Wigan. We couldn't have asked for a better climax as Radlinski gets this eagerly anticipated game underway. Alan Hunt takes the first tackle from Martin Hall. Game's on and Saints in possession with Perolini. Great tackling by the Wigan forwards, wonderful defence.
4 Wigan players straight in. You could feel the crowd lift right from the kick-off. So important that both sides get into the swing of things early. Nerves will be out there.
Fogarty is wrestled to the ground by O'Connor and Hall. Midway inside his own half of the field. Cunningham, the dummy half, to Goulding. Good hands to McVie. Good run from McVie. He got away from Connolly. Doesn't get away from those two. Cassidy and Edwards. This now is Cunningham. He gives it to Tommy Martin and he hoists the bomb. Here's a test for Radlinski. Radlinski comes up with the goods.
Tremendous take from the fullback, but good work by the winger, Jason Robinson. Look how Robinson there got in front. Made sure that Steve Prescott could not pile drive Radlinski, who took it well. That, I'm sure, will set the pattern for the Saints' tactics. The big kick. Everyone expected Bobby Goulding. On that occasion, it was Tommy Martin. There'll be more to come.
Minute and a half of this match gone. Head-to-head in the Premiership, 9 meetings. St Helens with a big advantage. 6 wins to 2, 1 draw. They're on the halfway line with Hall. He finds Murdoch. Murdoch kicks ahead looking for out wide Ellison. And Henry Paul down the middle, but Prescott does brilliantly and leaves Ellison for dead, but can't get away from Connolly. Super tackle from Connolly. This now is Goulding acting at dummy half and going and taking on Andy Farrell. Well, if the opening 2 minutes are anything to go by, we're in for a treat. And this is Anthony Sullivan with the run, halted by Henry Paul's tackle. Now McVie again. Good tackling by Cassidy, finished off by Edwards. Goulding, Hammond, Saints prepared to run it and take the chances. Perolini. Good tackling though by Kelvin Skerritt. Here's Cunningham. Flicks the ball back on the inside. Joey Hayes retains possession, but it's the last tackle. They've made 62 metres. Hammond. Well, that went out on the full. That's not the best start from Carl Hammond in terms of kicking.
Confusion between the players there. Bobby Goulding was shouting for it. The loose forward, Carl Hammond, as Eddie mentioned, not the best kick. They missed a golden opportunity then. They really should have opted for the bomb.
The ball came out, it popped out of Skerritt's hands.
Penalty, it's got to be a penalty.
The referee had a look at the touch judge, and the touch judge said the ball was stolen in a more than one-man tackle. Penalty, Wigan.
C1 goes low. Martin rips the ball away. Skerritt makes an appeal. McVie went low just in time, though.
So Wigan have the opportunity to build from inside the St Helens half. That was Terry O'Connor with the first run. Martin Hall is the dummy half. This is Mick Cassidy. Mick Cassidy got through McVie, but he was finished off by Paul Newlove. Hall, dummy half. The runner is Simon Horton. Wigan looking for an early try here to set them up for what might follow. St Helens now, their defence will be tested because it's with Henry Paul. Good defence from Perolini.
Not only
Chris
that,
Morley in there too.
Not only that, it was good work by Hunt, the centre. He'd gone up quickly and forced that play down the middle. They're shutting Wigan down to play down that corridor.
Last tackle, Connolly goes from dummy half. Connolly spins the ball into the arms of Hall. Lovely kick to the corner. Ellison! This is going to be, I think, handed on to the video ref. Did Ellison get the ball down, or did the St Helens defender get to it first?
It was bobbling. That was short. It was a beautiful kick from the hooker, Martin Hall.
It's no try. It's going on to the video ref, but that's no try. It's plain. He's handed it on. He wants the video ref to make his decision. No try.
He went over the top of it, Ellison. Sullivan was caught very short and tight, and you'll see that the winger Ellison goes over the top. It bounces badly. He could have perhaps taken that. What an opportunity missed.
Here's the decision on the big screen at Old Trafford. First one of the Premiership final. All eyes on the screen. St Helens celebrate, and it's a 20-metre place kick. You notice the players were already lined up. They knew what the decision was going to be.
Well, what an opening to this match. Both sides eager to get on with the game. Quick play the ball. Defences moving up quickly.
And a lot of people, I'm sure, will be wondering why it takes so long for the video ref to finally make up his mind. But the way that we restart the game is crucial.
Confusion again. Perolini went without the football. It was an okay pass from the hooker, Kieran Cunningham. Well, we mentioned that nerves would play a big part. Oh, is it one against the head? It's got to be offside, Edwards.
He is. He's come round the wrong side. And the referee wants a word, I think, with Bobby Goulding. He's given the penalty, but Goulding was a little bit quick to get in and to push and shove at Shaun Edwards. Penalty, Wigan. By the way, just going back to the way they restarted the game, had that ball been grounded by a Wigan player in goal, it would have been a drop out from underneath his own post. From a St Helens player, rather, in his own in-goal area. It would have been Saints dropping out from under their own post. That's why there's just a little delay while the video referee makes his mind up and gets it absolutely right. So it's not just the try decision, it's the way the game is restarted after the decision is given if it's no try. This is Cunningham now.
He'll play a big part. The runs from dummy half. He's had an outstanding season.
Oh, knock on from Alan Hunt. He didn't even try and cod the referee here. He knew. Look.
Oh, 3 goes at it. Well, mistakes are plenty. We saw that there was one against the head in the scrum. Takes his eyes off the football. Makes a real meal of that one.
Edwards gets possession from the scrum via Farrell, and this is Edwards again.
Super play. Absolutely outstanding, that. Peeled off from the back of the scrum, created that gap. But good defence also by Saints.
Tackle then on by Morley on Radlinski. This is Robinson. Well, St Helens coming into this match on the back of a real bruising semi-final against the Broncos last Sunday. But if the opening 6 3/4 minutes are anything to go by, they have suffered nothing because of that. Here's Twiggamala. Twiggamala goes down under challenge from 2. Fogarty in there, and so too was Derek McVie. This is the last tackle. Edwards with a high kick. That's gone over the head of Prescott. He's let it bounce. Oh, he was lucky to get away with that. Joey Hayes was there to pick up the pieces.
He was all at sea with Steve Prescott. Luckily, the winger, Joey Hayes, came back in time, but it was a good kick. It was a high bomb. Well, we mentioned before the game that St Helens, Bobby Goulding, Tommy Martin, they've utilised the bomb so well this season, but it's Wigan that's putting them under pressure with it.
Cunningham, and that's McVie. Good tackling by Mick Cassidy. Attacking kicks 2-1 in Wigan's favour in the opening 7 3/4 minutes of this Premiership final at Old Trafford. Goulding under pressure from Edwards, gets the kick in. Radlinski picks up the ball. Radlinski, youngest winner of the Man of the Match award against Leeds here last year when he scored a hat-trick. Now then, that was a good scampering run from Danny Ellison, halted by the tackle from Perolini. Henry Paul on the halfway line, dancing, jinking, twisting and turning, but he can't get away from those next two in, Perolini and McVie. Connolly! Connolly on the break! Connolly with a pace! Magnificent! Brilliant try for Gary Connolly! Super try from Connolly! Perfect start for Wigan, and Connolly, in his 5th consecutive Premiership final, scored here for St Helens in '93, now for Wigan.
We spoke about the quick play of the ball. Saints were very slow to mark up. They'd only one marker there, was McVie. No second marker came in. Connolly knew this, and off he goes. Bang! They slipped up there, Saints. They failed to mark up in the second marker position, and look how Connolly made them pay for it. The Australian McVie was stranded. He saw daylight. He's got the speed. What a start. It's just what the Wigan fans and the players needed.
Gary Connolly, who also last year ran in 3 tries against Leeds here at Old Trafford in that 69-12 record-breaking victory by Wigan. And he set Wigan off, and has he lit the fuse here for what we anticipate to be a truly classic encounter. The champions now have to come from behind, but Andrew Farrell, with 108 Super League goals, the brand new 1996 Man of Steel, the player of the year with the left boot, and that's not a kick that Andy Farrell will want to remember. But Wigan have a 4-0 lead.
Saints player down, and you can see the man that should be second marker, he's going backwards. He has his back to the opposition. They have paid the price. Wonderful run there. Connolly knew that Tommy Martin had his back turned. McVie was the only one marking up.
Alan Hunt, he couldn't go anywhere because Andrew Farrell had came in and made a telling tackle on him round the ankles. This now is Joey Hayes. 1996 British Lion tourist Joey Hayes. And here's a man, Carl Hammond, who will be hoping from Phil Larder, the Great Britain coach, to get the nod at the end of today's final. Fogarty tips the ball into the arms of Cunningham. He finds Hammond. Good support play. This now is Hunt. Hunt cuts back on the inside. Desperate defence from Wigan. Edwards and O'Connor.
Good play by Fogarty. His sheer strength made the half break. They've gone for broke. Connolly went for the intercept.
Chip over the top was from Prescott, but it wasn't deep enough. And Danny Ellison is able to pick it up for Wigan.
That really was a big gamble by the big centre, Gary Connolly.
Robinson with a typical run from defence.
There you see Connolly got away with it, applied the pressure. But if Saints could have just slipped the ball away, they had the overlap out wide.
Kelvin Skerrett, thought to be playing his last match in Wigan's colours here, will concentrate on his business interests after this final. maybe will attract interest from a Yorkshire club, who knows. This is Radlinski, now Henry Paul, potent attacking weapon Paul, and the Saints know that he's lost it.
He was pushed. Now then, this is a big one from David Campbell.
Saints penalty.
He was pushed while he was trying to play the ball by Tommy Martin. There you go. The second offence, and he's penalised Henry Paul for not playing the ball correctly. There's a deliberate push by Martin. It really was messy. Either way, Saints are not complaining.
And David Campbell is laying the law down to Henry Paul, because Henry Paul had a little chip at the referee as he went past him, and now the referee has got him also for back-chatting. 4-0.
Not good thinking there by Henry Paul, even though he felt he may have been badly done to. He should have got back and got on with the game rather than talking to the referee.
Tommy Martin trying to make some good yards from dummy half. Non-forthcoming, Hall and Farrell in defence. Here's Fogarty now to drive it up the middle. Great tackle from Cassidy. Cunningham switches the direction. Goulding injects the pace. Good ball to Newlove, but well watched. O'Connor and Connolly just slammed the door in Newlove's face. This now Derek McVie. Straight from McVie. Unload. Newlove. Paul Newlove responds for St Helens. They are not the champions for nothing. Paul Newlove, 29th try of Super League.
Again, we see Wigan caught on the blind side. They really should have moved up quickly. Beautiful work by the Australian McVie, and the strength of Paul Newlove does the rest. Connolly tried his best, but you can see they were too short. Farrell should not have been sucked in. He should have had the ability to stop, but he was off balance. This is the penalty where it all came about, and remember, the back-chatting gave them an extra 10, and from it, good work though by McVie. The blind side of Wigan's defence has been caught out yet again.
A try for Paul Newlove to savour the 250th of his career. Now Bobby Goulding with 121 Super League goals, leading kicker in the competition. He's crept it over, and the champions have a 6-4 lead.
You can see Farrell and the wing at Ellison. They should have been spread out. They didn't. They were taking that little bit of a rest. And when Farrell goes through, Ellison fails to move. It's too late. Great try. Quick thinking from the Australian second rower. It puts a smile, perhaps, on Sean McRae.
You must have good eyesight if you can see a smile on that face yet, Steve-O.
I saw that little moustache just twitch slightly.
14 and a half minutes gone. A rip-roaring contest. 6 points to 4. Graham West, the Wigan coach. Sean McRae's opposite number, watching as Wigan get a penalty.
All over the top. McVie had a second go. Really was a real mess down there. Well, he's in the action, but no more so than the big centre, Gary Connolly. His run from dummy half are becoming electric.
Here's Cassidy now, first receiver. Tremendous tackle from Cunningham. Wigan now, they will apply the pressure again. Lovely ball from Edwards to Farrell. The St Helens defence is being tested here. Paul gets the ball away. It bounced into the arms of Twiggamala. They've got to go low on Twiggamala. They forced him back. Good defence there from Alan Hunt. Henry Paul again, the magician, spins the ball into the arms of Edwards. Back to Terry O'Connor. O'Connor dumped to the ground by Tommy Martin.
Tremendous defence by Saints.
Connolly from dummy half again. Still Connolly looking to pass. Nobody there. Nobody there. Wigan caught on the last tackle.
How on earth did they keep Twiggamala here? Alan Hunt put his body on the line, driving those big legs of his. You could see the muscles tighten as he pushed the big centre back. Try saving time.
16 minutes gone. 16 minutes that have flown past for us who are watching. And look at the work that Alan Hunt's doing already. Averages 8 tackles per match. He's come up with 6 in the first 16 minutes.
That gives you some idea of the pace of this match. Both sides are putting it all in.
Last tackle here for St Helens, only 44 metres made. Martin, it's gone for the drop goal. Missed it. It was a long-range effort from Martin.
Quick thinking, though. Wasn't far off in the end. Was curling around. They're good tactics. The point is desperate. It's going to be a very close encounter, this.
Wigan being driven on by the fear of being the first team in Wigan's colours in 12 years not to win a trophy. Last Baron year, 1983-84. Since when, they've won 40 major honours. Henry Paul gets away from Goulding, can't get away from Newlove. Newlove sticks to him like glue, and Goulding comes in over the top to finish him off. Edwards with a diagonal kick, it's behind Prescott again. He's under pressure, under great pressure. Ellison and Robinson.
Beautiful kick, but well taken by the full-back. A kick is only as good as the chase, and you can see the chase is superb. Ellison, Robinson, 2 wingers working overtime, as was the full-back Steve Prescott. What a season. Danny Ellison stepped into the shoes of Martin Afire, doing a fine job.
Yes, he's done little wrong since he took over from the try-scoring winger, the most prolific try-scorer in the modern era. Oh, Farrell and Goulding, shoulder to shoulder. The big man against the little man. Radlinski now. Wrestled to the ground by Hammond.
Goulding's shoulder there, right one, right into the rib cage of Farrell. That hurts.
Skerritt was tackled, got up though quickly, played the ball. This is Robinson, Morley, Hammond and Joey Hayes in there to cut him down. This is Edwards. Edwards to Henry Paul. Oh, Edwards sold the entire St Helens defence almost there. And the ball stolen from Henry Paul, pinched by Tommy Martin in a one-on-one.
Only just in time before Steve Prescott there. Good refereeing by David Campbell, but not the best pass. They really want to calm things down somewhat, St Helens.
This now is Anthony Sullivan. Sullivan in fine form, the winger. 11 tries in his last 5 matches. Here's Perolini. Perolini, a consistent performer during this championship year for St Helens. Goulding and Hammond now.
Good defence. They know Hammond's qualities of releasing the football in the tackle.
Goulding with a kick over the top. Robinson wasn't tempted. He finds touch. Goulding just turns Wigan round.
Goulding starting to get into the swing of things, starting to enjoy his game. He's the man that controls things out there. A fine kicking game. Only 2 so far, but there'll be more to come. They will try to force the pressure now, and maybe we may get a push again. They got one against the head earlier, but not on this occasion.
Good tackle by Martin on the big man, Tuigamala. Here now is Farrell. Farrell gives it to Henry Paul. Little ankle tap from Tommy Martin. It was vital. Connolly to Edwards. Edwards doesn't want to be outdone by his opposite number, Bobby Goulding, today. Hall. Good run, halted by McVie's tackle. 4 tackles gone, midway through this first half. Farrell takes it up again, finds Cassidy. Cassidy went to kick ahead.
It was knocked out. Well spotted by the referee.
Referee says it's back to 1 on the tackle count. 6 more then for Wigan.
There you see, McVie brought it down. Tremendous refereeing, he saw it well.
Martin Hall to Andy Farrell. 20 metres out. McVie with a telling tackle again. Robinson from dummy half. He will try and make ground. Edwards takes over. Edwards gets there. That's a try for Edwards. Sean Edwards. Super League tries, and he gives Wigan the lead again.
Brilliant run from Robinson. You can see that Saints are having problems again in the marking. I'm not so sure that wasn't slightly forward. Either way, you could see that Edwards perhaps was an inch or two in front. It was not given, but your marking has to be good against Wigan. Line ball on that one. Whopped up, but let's not take anything away from the winger Robinson. So exciting, pops it up to the master himself. Beautiful run. Pretty close, line ball. He gave them the benefit of the doubt. That's what a referee's there for.
Well, the St Helens supporters in the crowd, I can tell you, watched those replays on the big screen here at Old Trafford, and they are convinced that was forward. But the man who matters is David Campbell. He said it was legal, and Andy Farrell adds the extras. Wigan now take the advantage by 10 points to 6.
Look at the space there. There's not even one marker. One's on the floor. They are just not getting it right. This will not be pleasing their coach, Sean McRae. You cannot allow Wigan to run riot like that.
Alan Hunt will run the ball back. He will play the ball, and that was Cunningham who gave it to Joey Hayes. And Sean Edwards now is inching towards his career 300th try. Needs 3 now. He's on 2.97 as a result of that try here in the Premiership final. Sean Edwards, the man who is likely to miss the Lions tour because of knee problems which require surgery during the winter. He's a brave player, there's no doubt about that. And this is his 30th major final. Goulding drills the ball all along the ground. Danny Ellison not interested. Didn't want to run the ball back. Good kick from Goulding, this diagonal, but maybe Ellison might have taken the gamble. He was facing his own post and his own line, but discretion the better part of valour. Goulding, though, top goal and point scorer in Super League. And Mick Cassidy is having some running repairs done to an eye injury by the looks of it. Adam Fogarty goes off. He is spelled by Ian Pickavance. Pickavance comes on. He really has done a wonderful job from the bench for St Helens this season. Now Henry Paul again. Those white boots of Henry Paul's picked out vividly in the floodlights here at Old Trafford. Twiggamala with the drive upfield. Great run, great strength from Twiggamala. They can't put him down.
Oh, the crowd love that. Wonderful ability to shake off the would-be tackler. He's so strong. Skerritt tries the same. Twiggamala, what strength.
Farrell gives it to Paul. Paul spins away from one, bounces through 2 more. Desperate defence now from St Helens. Every time Henry Paul gets the ball, there's problems. This is Edwards. This now is Andy Farrell. Andy Farrell over the top. Ellison gets the try. Danny Ellison. What a comeback to the first team it has been for Ellison. His 8th Super League try. 2 tries in last week's semi-final also, and he crowns his first major final with another.
Wigan are just ripping Saints apart from this dummy half position. Saints again were caught with not enough markers. They're bringing men on the angle, the back pass inside. Farrell sends the winger in. What's the inside pass? Once they pull away the marker, Pickavance was slow to go over. Pass out wide, Ellison easy. They are just cutting them to ribbons. The experience of Edwards. Farrell knew exactly when to chime in, and you don't come better to finish than that.
Well, Danny Ellison, 9 games since he came in to fill Martin Offiah's shoes, and 8 tries now. Wigan hitting St Helens around that play the ball area and making good yards and taking great advantage. And a happy Wigan coach, Graham West. Now Andy Farrell from way out on the touchline far side. Gives it a really good thump. Farrell, has it got the legs? It hasn't got the direction. 14-6.
Pickavance was slow in the second marker. Watch how he goes across to Edwards, and back on the inside is Farrell. Well worked. That was no fluke. They've been working hard on that at training. But Saints have to do something quickly about this marking around the play the ball area.
Alan Hunt. Saints with the ball in possession. There is Sean McRae, their coach. His hat and his eyes we saw anyway. Pickavance with a good break, but clobbered from behind by Andy Farrell.
That was a shame. Pickavance just slipped there as he tried to step on the inside.
Cunningham with a great drive from dummy half now. It's going from one end of the field to the other. Goulding, Hammond, Hunt! So close. Goulding, they'll switch it now, surely out wide again. Pickavance, Prescott went down the middle. Farrell and O'Connor with the toe. He dropped it.
He's got away with it. That'll be a penalty. No. Martin claims he was grabbed, and he was. Well, O'Connor swung the arm. There was no malicious intent, but you could see he took the man off the football. Well, Saints very unlucky not to get a penalty there. But to be fair, he did drop the ball.
Looked like it from up here, but obviously not down there on the pitch side with David Campbell. This now is Farrell again. On halfway, releases the pass to Cassidy. They're ripping St Helens apart up the middle. 4 tackles gone. Radlinski at dummy half. Edwards is there. This now is Henry Paul. He chips over the top. Well watched by Prescott. And Prescott escapes. And Prescott launches another St Helens attack. But he's on his own.
They won't give up this Saints side. They're not the Super League champions for nothing.
Welsh international for Welsh international as Cowie comes on to replace Kelvin Skerrett. Hammond to Morley, another Welshman. Over the halfway line. Hauled down by Simon Horton. Hammond to Cunningham to Goulding. This is McVie. McVie sees a little hole and goes for it. And McVie's through. And again, McVie's got support inside him from Martin. The ball was lost.
Penalty. It was knocked down. What a great run by the Australian. I said they wouldn't just give in, and they are doing that. They are getting to it. You can see that Connolly reached that ball away. McVie looks to the referee. The referee could see that O'Connor was in attendance too. Deliberate reefing of the football by Connolly. This could just be the 2 points that Saints need to steady the ship.
6-14. If Goulding lands this kick, it'll be 8-14. And the crowd really has rolled up to Old Trafford for this last match of the season. So eagerly anticipated, this game. And so far we have not been disappointed. Goulding with the penalty. 2 more points for the Saints. The gap now, just the converted try. 6 points.
That really will steady things down, because that man in your picture, Sean McRae, will no doubt have sent out the message. You must get this second marker situation sorted out.
10 minutes to half-time. We've seen in the semi-finals last week, both these sides are capable of making important strikes in the immediate minutes before the half-time siren. Referee unhappy with that challenge on Simon Horton, who sillily threw the ball at Chris Morley, and Morley wants to carry on the debate, and David Campbell will hold up the clock and say, let's have a little debate of our own.
Well, Morley just got a little bit excited there. He made really an attempt to try to put the arm underneath, which is against the law now. Any attempt to try to pick a man up to prevent the spear tackle, that's why it was introduced. It's a good ruling. And even though he didn't go right the way through it, he released at the moment. It was at that same moment that David Campbell said you were attempting to get the hand underneath.
O'Connor does well. He finds Hall, who in turn finds Cassidy. Despite the attentions of Morley, he gets the ball away to Neil Cowie, and Cowley is grounded by Pickavance on the halfway line. Level pegging in the penalty count. Great scream of forward from the St Helens supporters. David Campbell unimpressed. Cassidy tries to get the ball away. Goulding does well, flips it back to Perolini. That was good play by the St Helens skipper.
That should have been a knock-on. They were looking to get away with that one. St Helens player touched it first. And of course, if a man's in front, he can't nullify that. Doesn't have to hit the ground. Well, that's a bouncing. It's a lost ball. Scrum down. Well, action aplenty. Controversy. Goes tandem. Bang. And you can see that Redlinski deliberately knocks the ball away. And Cowie, well,
the referee has actually had a look at the touch judge and has changed his mind here, and he's given the penalty to St Helens.
Well, my apologies to the fullback Chris Radlinski. It was Cowie, same hairstyle, different physique.
Slightly.
What, the hairstyle?
No, the physique. This is Perolini. Talking of physique, this fellow has got tremendous strength. The Western Samoan prop forward. Plays the ball. Hammond to Morley. Morley trying to go through the gap between Paul and Twiggamala. St Helens on the charge with Pickavance. Applies the brakes, Pickavance. And Pickavance had a hand in Simon Horton's face, and Horton didn't like it. Cunningham to within half a metre of the line. Pickavance off the ground to Goulding. Goulding to Tommy Martin. He drops it. And that's a knock-on. And he's not happy with the quality of the pass.
Wasn't the best, but he should have taken it. He was put under a lot of pressure there by Martin Hall. And he's saying, put it into my chest, not below the waistband. But I think if he looks at the replay, he'll find that it should have been taken.
Big push at the scrum from both sets of forwards. Henry Paul. Alan Hunt did well then. This is Radlinski. 3 apiece, the handling errors 2, and here's Radlinski again. What a pass to Farrell. What a pass from Farrell to Robinson. Robinson has got Newland after him. He tosses the ball wide to Edwards. Edwards out wide to Ellison. Ellison gets a second try. A try from nothing. Created, though, by some breathtaking skills from this Wigan side. Oh, they are having their mettle tested, but Danny Ellison and company are coming up trumps. Robinson at the heart of the move. Some brilliant, brilliant play there in the build-up to the try.
They do not come any better than this. And again, from the dummy half position, support play was superb. Newlove did well here to put the pressure on Robinson, but Edwards throws the ball out wide. What a game Danny Ellison is having. Far too late, Sullivan arrives on the scene, but the fullback just splits the defence again. Support by Robinson. The cool head on Edwards out wide, and the youngster, he's making a name for himself in this game. They don't come much better than that.
That was a magnificent try. Danny Ellison scored it, but Robinson, Edwards, Farrell and company, they created it for him. But it still needed some scoring, didn't it? Sean Edwards clapping his hands and rallying the troops for even more effort up towards half-time. Farrell from almost exactly the same mark as he took the conversion just a few minutes ago. Has he set his sights this time? He pushes it again and misses another. 18-8, the gap 10 points.
6 players, all with their backs to the opposition when Radlinski pulled it off. And look at them. They were just stood there. He rips them apart. Well, the defence that was so strong against the London Broncos last week, probably the best defensive effort I've seen from Saints this season, it's all gone off boil. It's simmering and it's getting colder.
What a statistic on Danny Ellison. Average clean breaks during the course of a match this season's been 2. He's made 3 already so far, and we're still 4.5 minutes away from half-time. This is Goulding to Pickavance. St Helens need to respond up to half-time now in their own fashion. Cunningham will make some more yards down the middle, but he was met by the chest of Cassidy. Champions against the runners-up for the 4th time in 5 seasons. High kick again. Connolly. Claim that high bomb.
What a magnificent game Gary Connolly is having tonight. You could see him just rise majestically above everyone else. His runs early in this first half from dummy half has been superb. It set the pattern. It has set the scene for the destruction of the Saints' defence.
I suppose when he reflects on the opening 40 minutes, if it stays as a 10-point margin, Sean McRae, he won't be happy, but he will be a lot happier because it could have been so much more damage done by this Wigan side. And he doesn't look a happy man now. Steve-O might have detected a smile earlier when they got over for their try, but no smile on the face of the St Helens coach just yet. These are dangerous times. Wigan often hit teams up towards the half-time siren. Hall's kick, though, all along the ground, only finds touch.
I may be biased, but this is intelligent play by the hooker. Doesn't often get the credit he fully deserves throughout the season. Works hard in defence, but he's a good thinker. And on that occasion, nice little kick into the corner.
So it's Saints head and feet at this scrum, but it's 10 metres from their try line. Newlove, well watched by Paul and Farrell. Paul Newlove, at £500,000, the most expensive player in the world of rugby league. Alan Hunt, called into the Lions tour party this week. Wigan having the greater of the possession and enjoying a 10-point lead as Morley attacks them down the right-hand side.
He's having a fine game as the second rower, Morley. It's the second occasion in the last 5 minutes he's made good ground.
St Helens try and play this expansive game of theirs, but again, they drop the ball, and this time the culprit is Derek McVie.
Well, he loves nothing better than running out wide in the centres, but he was caught flat-footed there. The dummy runner was Pickavance. Perhaps that just put him off slightly. It shouldn't have. Well, he created the try, but he knows he's added extra pressure to a side that is just not playing as well as what we've seen them throughout this Super League season.
Twigamala, that's a great tackle from Alan Hunt, and Joe Lydon in the front and Graham West behind. The coaching duo at Central Park make their way to the dressing room to greet their players. We're a minute and a half away from the half-time siren. Henry Paul, he picked that ball up off the floor one-handed. Perolini and Pickavance in there, and Paul is hurt. O'Connor gets the pass away somehow. Martin Hall will take it on. Support from Robinson inevitably. Watched by Tommy Martin. Connolly to Farrell. Farrell up the middle. Connolly in support. Changes direction. Well, Sean Edwards ready, St Helens ready, and Bobby Goulding about to get this second half underway here at Old Trafford. You might have noticed the Wigan coach Graham West making his way into the stands here, and he looks very relaxed, I must say. Graham West, the Wigan coach. But I wonder what words of wisdom are ringing round the ears of the St Helens players from their coach Sean McRae, who's last out of the dressing room to take his place in the stand now. Important 40 minutes to come. The last 40 minutes of the 1996 season, a season that has been one to savour from start to finish. March the 29th we began in Paris here on Sky Sports, and we are now at Old Trafford for the last half of the campaign, and it's been a privilege to be with you on Sky Sports throughout the course of this summer, and we're watching the two best teams in the land contesting the last trophy of the year. And Farrell tried to get Gary Connolly through, and it was a good job for Saints that Carl Hammond went for the intercept.
He took the gamble and it came off, sort of. At least it prevented a try. No one would have got anywhere near Gary Connolly. You could see Steve Prescott coming to the picture far too late. Beautiful work, though, by the loose forward, Andrew Farrell.
Ball comes out the back of the scrum. It was Wigan's head and feed at that scrum. Twigamala is brought to ground. First pressure here on this St Helens line at the start of this second half. Cassidy disappears under that challenge, but Wigan now are 12 metres short of the line, and even closer now courtesy of the run from O'Connor, halted by the tackle from Kieran Cunningham. Hall dummy half into the arms of Edwards. Edwards to Farrell.
Forward pass. He delayed it too long. It was a neat little move. Edwards is confused, but you could see that he twisted his body far too late. Either way, it was picked up by Hammond.
So it's St Helens with the head and feed, courtesy of Bobby Goulding. And this now is Prescott. Let's go down to the pitch side and hear from Bill Arthur, who has half-time news for us.
Just a quick word with Graham West, the Wigan coach. Very happy with his side's first half performance, but looking for an early score in this second half to really nail St Helens down. Saints know they've really got a lot of work to do in this second 40. They haven't lived up to the standards they've set themselves in this season. Mike Gregory, assistant coach, admitted that one or two players haven't played to their full potential in the first 40. They've gifted Wigan chances, and they haven't tightened up in defence. They've got to do all that in the second half.
Referee has given a knock-on against Martin Hall, and that's a relief for St Helens. It's Saints head and feed at this scrum.
Well, he didn't get a finger to it on that occasion. Either way, Saints will not complain. The big key now for the Saints side is not to panic. They're only 10 points adrift. There's plenty of time, and that's got to be a penalty.
Yes. Henry Paul with his legs wrapped around Anthony Sullivan, and Sullivan couldn't get to his feet again.
Once you've made the tackle, you could see that the legs were wrapped around the right leg of Sullivan.
So here come St Helens, and what they want is an early try themselves. 3.5 minutes, second half gone. Cunningham scampers away again from dummy half. He gets away from Cassidy. Cassidy comes back for a second attempt. What strength from the young player of the year in 1996, Welsh international Kieran Cunningham. Goulding, Hammond hangs on, gives it to Alan Hunt, and that was desperate defence from Henry Paul on that occasion. Goulding, Cassidy shut out of the line to cut Goulding down. The ball's everywhere. That's going to be a knock-on against Wigan again. They can't get hold of these loose balls, and Martin Hall again adjudged by the referee to have knocked the ball forward.
And he did on this occasion. You can see that he touched it and then released it, but what a great tackle from Paul. Horton came up to just sweep it away. That would have lifted their confidence, the Saints outfit. And now they can launch again.
19 tackles a match average, 11 so far tonight for Henry Paul. Joey Hayes down the blind side.
Went high.
Yes, Horton adjudged to have gone high on Joey Hayes.
See the swinging left arm.
Well, it's not difficult, is it? Because Hayes is such a tiny, compact little man.
Either way, if the head's on the floor, you still can't hit it.
Look at the statistic that Simon Horton has given us here. 28 tackles normally, 25 already 5-minute second half. He's the top tackler in the match on both sides.
This is where Bobby has to inject himself now. Maybe one of those angle runs, bring someone back on the inside.
It's McVie. McVie trying to use all that strength, but hauled back by 4 blue and white checkerboard jerseys of Wigan. Cunningham to Hammond. Hammond, it bounced off the chest of Morley. Play on. Edwards, the man who plays on.
Well, they were very stuck on there. Twigger Marler, didn't he take him out? Take the ball up. Saints were very flat on that occasion. Their build-up was superb. The finish was awful.
So Wigan back in possession, this time with O'Connor. 3 tackles gone, and Connolly will take them over the halfway line into St Helens territory. That's the 4th tackle.
Again, we see Connolly running from the dummy half. Saints, they just don't seem to get themselves back in time.
Last one, they've made 54 metres, Wigan. Hall, with nowhere really to go, so he elects for the kick, and it slices out on the full. Mistake from Martin Hall. Play will come back to where the kick was taken. It'll be the turnover.
Won't be happy with that. Kicking standard so far until that one has been good.
Bobby Goulding is having some treatment to a problem in back play as we watch as that first tackle of this set of 6 is completed. This now is McVie. He gets St Helens over the halfway line. Big, raw-boned Australian, Derek McVie. New love to Martin. This is Pickavance. Desperate defence from Wigan.
The link is very slow, though, from Saints. Bobby Goulding and Tommy Martin really have not combined.
That's a better ball, though, to New Love. New Love has got Martin. Martin is hauled. Oh! I think momentum has taken him over. Martin's got the try, but the referee is going to take a look and check for a double movement to see whether the tackle was completed or whether Martin got over with momentum.
He hits the deck there. He's still moving. That's okay for mine. He was never, ever stopped. Bounce. Now then, the ball carrying arm hits the ground, definitely. Now, did he make it a deliberate move over the top, or did his momentum spin him over? It's a tough one.
Well, the ball carrying arm certainly hit the ground, but I'm with you, Steve-O. The momentum was there, and the crowd have all got their heads trained on our big screen here at Old Trafford. Here's the decision. The try's given. Tommy Martin had no doubts, and neither did they. Just what St Helens wanted, and right under the posts or thereabouts as well.
Well, we spoke about the link perhaps not being working so far. Bobby Goulding with the angle. Dummy runner. You could see that Cowie had gone far too across. Beautiful run there by Newlove, and Martin gets a vital try. What a time to hit back.
So Tommy Martin gets the try that St Helens desperately wanted, and that's put them back in the hunt. And if Goulding adds this, they're right back in it, and they are. 14 points to 18. Bobby Goulding employing his men for a big effort.
Watch how Goulding goes across, and you'll see Cowie goes with him. And that was enough to allow this man to make the break. Great support by Tommy Martin. He juggles. Momentum. He spins over. My mind goes back to Perellini down at London. Beautiful play. Bang. He's there.
I say, when you look back over this season, which has been obviously dominated in many ways by the big screen and by the video referees' decisions, St Helens can have very few complaints.
Oh, swinging arm there. Morley, that was not what the doctor ordered when you just pulled yourself back to within 4 points. That is going to allow Wigan to get out of it.
He's called it a forward pass, and he's put the scrum down.
I don't care what he's called. He's wrong. The youngster gets the clattering here.
He ruled the forward pass first, that's why the scrum's gone down. And Radlinski, none the worse for his experience, pulls Alan Hunt down to the ground with help from Paul. Now here's Goulding. He looks as though he's refound his appetite. Coming up to 10 minutes, second half gone. Hammond, Martin, Pickavance, lost it. And Wigan have it back courtesy of Farrell. Oh, Alan Hunt made a strike for that ball. That's not allowed anymore.
Good refereeing by Campbell. He could see that Paul had made good ground upfield, so he allowed the advantage. Pickavance losing the football at a crucial moment. Full credit to Saints for bouncing back.
Connolly disappears under the challenge from Morley and from Pickavance again. Edwards hands it on to Farrell. Farrell short ball to Horton. Horton through a gap. Prescott takes her in. Oh, a great try for Simon Horton. And Horton and Wigan respond to the try that St Helens scored by grabbing one for themselves.
We talk of fight backs and bouncing back. Farrell's pass here was superb. You can see that Carl Hammond was caught in no man's land, and I'm afraid that Steve Prescott just did not have the speed to get across in time. Sucked Hammond through. Hammond looks to say, where was the centre filling in? He was nowhere to be seen. The look of anguish on Carl Hammond's face. This man fends off the fullback. Superb handoff. Gets it down just before he hits the whitewash.
Well, Simon Horton came on as a substitute last year in the Premiership final and scored a try. He started the game and this evening has come up with another. Obviously some damage to that chin, but Henry Paul has now taken over the goal-kicking responsibility from his captain, Andy Farrell. Andy Farrell is still out on the field. There he is, just chatting to his players, but he's given Henry Paul the opportunity to add 2 more points here. Farrell not been kicking with his usual accuracy, just 1 from 4. So Henry Paul now with the opportunity to open his account. He's missed another, or at least he's missed his first. Wigan have missed another, but the gap now is 8 points.
Hammond goes forward. You can see Hunt's running at the angle. This is the result. Bang! They were caught, but what a fend off by the big second rower. They needed that. Saints were beginning to get back into the swing of things. Their confidence was building.
So Chris Morley now will try and run it back for St Helens. The news on Simon Horton, by the way, why he's got that huge plaster on his chin. Apparently he had some stitches inserted in a wound last week, and they've come unstuck again. It's a sport not for weaklings. It's a brave man's game, this. Cunningham. Tremendous play. Thinking all the time from dummy half.
That's the type of play that they need. Quick play of the balls. They've been a bit sluggish at times.
They're going for the power play, Saints. Newlove dabs it through now, but inevitably it's Connolly. What a match Gary Connolly has had.
Well, we spoke about not panicking, and I'm afraid that is a panic tactic there by Newlove. He went for the power play, as you say, but when you've got the likes of Martin and Bobby Goulding, who are tremendous kickers, I just cannot understand why Saints, having used the bomb to such great effect throughout this season, are not electing to use it today.
Attacking kicks, Saints have put in 5 to Wigan's 4. Edwards gives it to Farrell. Oh, he just brushed Chris Morley away and releases Henry Paul. Good tackle from Perolini on Paul. Connolly into the arms of Edwards. That's Robinson. That looked forward. That looked a touch forward. It'll be interesting to have a look back at that again, particularly if he gets in for the try. Oh.
That was high from Alan Hunt, but he's allowing the advantage.
It's play on. Twigamala. Oh, he threw it into the crowd. Radlinski came on the inside.
He'll give the penalty now. He will go back, and he should go back to where? No, he's not going to do it. Well, what an amazing decision by the referee. It went to nowhere from the big fella, Twigamala. Now, he's obviously deemed that Hunt's tackle obviously hit the chest.
Well, he's the man with the whistle, David Campbell. This is McVie again. Wrestled to the ground by Paul and Farrell. Martin to Pickavance. Pickavance up the middle. Cunningham again, off he sets from the dummy half roll.
This is where
tackle.
This is the incident, and it's very, very high indeed.
St Helens have got a penalty now.
Interference at the play, the ball. Neil Cowie, the culprit. Are Wigan losing their marbles? Are they losing the plot? Not the best play by Cowie.
Pickavance will pick himself up, play the ball to Prescott. 7-3, St Helens with a big advantage in the penalty count. From David Campbell. Perolini. Perolini wrestled to the ground by Twigamala and O'Connor. Here's Goulding. Now Hammond. Hammond straightens it up. Ball round the corner, straight into the arms of Cowie. Chance gone.
They took the gamble. Hammond on the inside. Martin had already gone. Just a little bit too fancy. They've lost the position as well.
This is Connolly. Great run from Connolly. Super stuff from Gary Connolly. Great tackle from Newlove as well. Ellison, Henry Paul in those boots. I think we can call him Twinkle Toes. Just look at him. Terrific. Eventually clattered to the ground by Kieran Cunningham. Ellison to O'Connor. O'Connor says to Newlove, out the way. Couldn't get away from Pickavance though. Last tackle now for Wigan. Edwards. Big space over there. They're all after it. That's got to be offside, wasn't it? It must have come off a St Helens player into the arms of Goulding. Campbell's ruled it's come off a Wigan man.
Difficult to see. He goes up. Well, that looks offside to mine. Well, this is going to go right down to the wire. Prescott's face bounces to Bobby Goulding.
But he's ruled it's come off a Wigan player. Andy Farrell maybe. He has to make split-second decisions to the referee. He doesn't have the benefit of these high-technology replays that we have, Steve-O. He's got to make his mind up in a flash, particularly with the pace of this game.
And the players just continue on. They're not hanging around for any replays. They know they've got to get back into it, Saints.
This is Prescott. Now Hammond. Little hole for Hammond. Held on to the football as he took the tackle from Edwards.
It's got to be the kick now, surely, from Bobby.
There it is. But it's a bit deep. Prescott's after it, though. Connolly's underneath it. Bounces back. Newlove is play on in the last. Newlove releases a pass to Pickavance. This is Sullivan. Oh, terrific defence. Connolly and Cowie and Hall. They were all in there fighting and scrapping.
It was play on. It looked for all the world that the big fella Newlove was going to get there. But what a tackle from the hooker, Martin Hall. That was try-saving time. There's a Wigan player down injured. Looks like Connolly.
Well, a man who scored a try for St Helens against Wigan in the 1993 Premiership final, Gary Connolly. But what a match he's having here tonight. For Wigan this time. But, Steve-O, you would be hard-pushed, and it's not our job, thankfully, you'd be hard-pushed to pick a man of the match as the outstanding player of this game, because the players of both sides are right on top of their form.
Still got plenty to go as well. Touch of brilliance and magic from any of these players could swing it their way. But you'd have to say that Gary Connolly surely would be in the front at the moment.
There he is, Connolly, who spins the ball into the arms of Edwards. Kick over the top from Sean Edwards. That's easy for Steve Prescott. And he gets away brilliantly from Danny Ellison. Radlinski came down, though, tracked him back. Sullivan, been in scintillating form lately. Cunningham, scintillating form all season. Pickavance, dragging St Helens up towards the halfway line. Hammond to Perolini. Great tackle from Cassidy and Edwards again. He's a real workhorse in the Wigan defences, Mick Cassidy. Tommy Martin, a flash of brilliance, lovely ball round the corner. Newlove picks up, escapes the clutches of Ellison. Newlove to the corner, brilliant defence from Radlinski. Tremendous defence, no need to go to the video then. No try.
Excellent stuff. I thought Connolly had just allowed him too much out wide. He left him a pretty wide passage there down the touchline, but Radlinski was coming across, made a beeline. What a tremendous effort. He went close to Newlove.
Here's Twiggamala. Twiggamala's found space. He nearly ran poor Derek McVeigh into the ground. It's play on, says David Campbell. Twiggamala lost possession. Wigan are furious.
Well, and so they should be. There was a man there in front. McVeigh grabbed the leg. Well, controversy reigns again. The pressure of this game obviously getting to everyone. You can see McVeigh pulling the leg. Twiggamala had no chance of playing the football.
Skerritt has come on, and so has Steve Barrow. Graham West has made 2 changes. Hammond. Well, no wonder when it's played at this breakneck pace, is this game a 17-man affair.
Knock on by Joey Hayes. Not the best time to come up with something like this. He was coming back on the inside, launched the right arm out.
Great crowd inside Old Trafford tonight, 35,013 here to see this Premiership final, and the players of St Helens and Wigan are dishing up a match to savour. Wonderful game, great contest, not over yet. Henry Paul, it might be now! Henry Paul on a run to the line. Henry Paul touches down, and is that the moment that Wigan retain the Premiership? The defence was non-existent, and Henry Paul crowns a magnificent season personally with his 22nd Super League try.
The combination, the loose forward Andrew Farrell. Edwards peeled away from the scrum. Watch how he sucks the defence. Martin goes in, he was left with 2. It was a superb time pass to Henry Paul. Newlove knows that could be the Premiership trophy gone, and this man knows it could be the winner's medal. Easy, but it was well worked. They do it so well. Look how they peeled away. They brought in the standoff. Tommy Martin, he took on 2. Edwards, pass. This man did the rest.
Henry Paul, great try. 6 tries in his last 3 before the final. And Wigan suddenly, and their supporters, believe that they're going to have something to celebrate at the end of this Premiership final. Andy Farrell from bang in front. Doesn't miss those. Wigan are on their way now. Andrew Farrell from bang in front adds 2 more points, and Wigan now really do have some daylight between them and the Saints. But remember what happened last week when the Bradford Bulls fought back from a similar situation as this. Can St. Helens now drag some resource up from somewhere?
It depends on how much fuel they've got left in the tank. We mentioned at half-time it was a tough encounter in the semi-final against the London Broncos. It was a grueling, tough game, that one. And these final minutes will certainly tell. But full credit to Saints throughout this season. Every time it's looked like a lost cause, they've dug deep and produced something special.
Can they find something special now? They've made a couple of changes, St. Helens, to try and conjure something up from somewhere. Hayes and Morley off, and Andy Haig and Danny Arnold come on, two youngsters. And Andy Haig back on the ground where he scored 3 tries and got man of the match in the academy final last year. Pickavans kicks ahead. Sullivan says, why didn't you pass it inside? I was with you. Because the chance has gone begging.
All that good work by the substitute, Ian Pickavans. And you can see that Sullivan's saying, what on earth have you kicked for? That could be the turning point. That was the moment that Saints perhaps threw the last dice.
Cowie, and doesn't Martin Hall do well? Right on halfway. Robinson to Farrell.
And sure does Martin Hall, like a little scavenger, isn't he? All over the shop.
Sean McRae knows that this Premiership final is slipping away. His team have got a quarter of an hour in which to produce something that'll bring it back. But Robinson gets just reward. And Robinson also has been a star of this Super League season. And Jason Robinson notches his 25th try of the campaign. And there might now be no coming back for St. Helens. Conference time between coach and assistant in the stands. Celebration time for the players out on the field.
The heads are getting down. They were slow to move up. The inside pass, you could see that they were stood still. Brushed them off. Andy Haig was no match for this man. The strength and speed. He really has been a star of Super League this season. One of the world's best. Full credit to Edwards, and you can see on the blind side, it's a tired-looking defence. A tired, attempted tackle. But this will never become tiresome. This is what rugby league is all about. Scoring tries just like that. Seeing the super athletes throughout this season has been outstanding.
Tremendous drive from Jason Robinson, one of the stars of the game, no doubt about that. And here's another, Andrew Farrell now to try and add the extra 2. And he's got his kicking boots back in shape now, 34-14.
The will-o'-the-wisp, hasn't he proved a few points over the last couple of weeks? But this man has been outstanding throughout the season. No wonder they class him as the world's best in either code.
So St. Helens playing today in the 54th match of the past 12 months. No other team has undertaken such a workload, and it might, I'm afraid, be 54 and one game too many. Trailing now by 20 points, it would make superhuman effort for them to come back from this. Perolini and McVie off. They have worked like Trojans. Fogarty and Booth come on. There is Adam Fogarty. As he falls, he releases the pass. Barrow and Cowie combine to bring Simon Booth down.
Well, I spoke to Terry Mattison, the London Broncos skipper, after last week's game. He said they didn't deserve to win. Saints were a very good, solid outfit, superb outfit. He said, but they will feel the pain when they walk out at Old Trafford. And it is pain a prize for them.
Hunt, he gets the pass away to Fogarty. Fogarty tries to get the short ball to Booth, and it wasn't forward, says referee Campbell. Play on. Cunningham Cunningham dabs it through. Connolly again. Inevitably, Gary Connolly at the heart of the disruptive Wigan defence.
Great attack from Cunningham, but didn't he put his body on the line? He launched himself like Superman down onto that ball. He knew that possession was vital. That could probably tip it. The Man of the Match award, I'm sure, for mine, will go to Gary Connolly.
Paul Newlove hobbling off. Just saw him there. So St Helens now, I think, running on empty, and Joey Hayes has had to be pushed back on into the field of the battle. Radlinski with the kick downfield was caught. The ball hit the corner flag and the corner post is out. So the referee deems that they will restart with a tap on the 20-metre. There's Joey Hayes. Let's go downstairs to join Bill Arthur on the touchline, as he's been all the way through this summer, and we have got Terry O'Connor to talk to.
I tell you what, Terry breathed a big sigh of relief when Jason Robinson went in for that try. I think that finally nailed Saints, didn't it?
Yeah, I think now they've got to score 20 points to get back in the game, and 10 minutes left, it's going to be a hard task for them, so hopefully we'll be there and we'll win the Premiership at the end of this game.
And it has been a titanic struggle, this has. It's lived up to expectations, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think everyone wanted to see runners up against the champions, and all due credit to Saints, they've come out and they've played well. But we're going to pull some extra out tonight to score the extra points.
And you really were motivated to do that, weren't you, tonight?
We needed to win some silverware this year. We lost the league by 1 point, and we needed to do it for our fans and for the family, and also everyone at the club.
Thanks, Terry.
Cheers, Bill.
And they want to bring Sean Edwards off and replace him with Craig Murdoch. But Sean Edwards so far hasn't seen the sign. He stays on.
I don't think he's looking. I don't think Sean wants to come off. He keeps looking. Now, well, will he ignore them? He's done his part, that's for sure.
Here's Goulding. Gives the pass to Andy Haig. Andy Haig back to Goulding, and Goulding buried immediately by Kelvin Skerritt. They have done a wonderful job on Bobby Goulding, this Wigan defence. They picked him out as the playmaker. Hayes with a chip over, and Robinson taking no chances at all.
Good thinking by the young winger there. Little run on the blind side, chip over the top. Robinson equal to the task. Sheer speed. Turn round, pumps those legs. Takes the safety first option. Consolation is all that they can be looking for now. The minutes ticking away.
And finally, the message has got out to Sean Edwards. And he says, just calm down. Although I'm departing, we've still got 8 minutes and a bit to go. Edwards goes off to a tremendous ovation from the Wigan crowd and boos, as you would expect, from the St Helens supporters. But Sean Edwards, he's a man who is going to pick up tonight a medal in his 31st major final. Let's have a word with him. He's just left the field. He's with Bill.
Sean, Eddie's saying you're going to pick up your 31st medal. Do you think it's in the bag now?
It should be in the bag, but the thing is, the Saints can never shut them off. Many times we've been miles in front against them in the past, and they've come back. But our lads are tackling well. We can get a few, not many decisions going our way so far, but hopefully, in the future it will be, get a bit of ball.
How satisfying is this?
Very.
Thanks, Sean.
One word, very satisfying. Bobby Goulding doing well, keeping it alive. Oh, and they tried to keep it alive once too often.
Well, they've got away with it because it's a knock-on against Gary Connolly. You can see they try to keep the ball alive, and Connolly gets the fingertips to it, so at least Saints will have the head and feed, and it is. Interesting, Eddie, as Sean Edwards came off there, had a little smile and a comment from Tommy Martin. It's been played in tremendous spirit, hasn't it?
Look at that from Twiggamala. Alan Hunt's going backwards and gets the from Jason Robinson. Well, Twiggamala is devastating in attack, but he's pretty devastating in defence as well. He must have pushed him back then about 20 metres. The strength of the man. He's phenomenal.
Unbelievable, this. Well, if ever I want to flit and need someone to do my removal, he could do it on his own, I think. Including the grand piano.
Wigan have got the ball back. Saints running on empty.
Safety first now from Wigan. The likes of Skerrett just taking the ball up.
Well, sorry, Steve. We saw Paul Newlove hobbling off the field a few minutes ago. I think Bill Arthur's got some more news.
And it's sad news about Paul Newlove. Sad way for him to end the season, hobbling off. And it sounds as though it's a very bad hamstring injury, according to Saints physio Jeanette Smith. And it could keep him out for 6 weeks. And she is doubtful about his involvement in the Great Britain tour down under. That's the early prognosis, but he certainly did look in a lot of pain.
Well, that's bad news again for Paul Newlove, and certainly for Phil Larder, the Great Britain coach. This, meanwhile, is Ellison, who's on the verge of a hat-trick. Murdoch's there in support, and Murdoch only just on, gets the try, and he's delighted. Craig Murdoch, created by Ellison. Wigan are the Premiership winners of 1996 now. There will be no comeback this time for St Helens. They know, the players know, and Craig Murdoch knows he's going home with a gold medal tonight.
Once again, the skills of Gary Connolly from the dummy half position. Slowing the marker. Sucks Sullivan inside. Releases Ellison. And Murdoch, the man who is following in the footsteps of probably one of the greatest of all support players. Sean Edwards, he knows what it's all about. Down the middle, supports Ellison, but put this down to Gary Connolly once again. Outstanding play by Connolly on that short blind side, and why not? This guy fully deserves it, and enjoy it while it lasts.
Craig Murdoch with the try, and while that was being scored, the news has come through that Andy Farrell has won the Harry Sunderland Award as man of the match. What a week he's had. Man of Steel earlier on Tuesday night, and now man of the match in the Premiership final at Old Trafford. And he adds 2 more points to the Wigan total, and the Wigan skipper knows he'll be first up the steps shortly to collect the Glittering Stones Premiership trophy. Murdoch's try, Farrell's kick, Wigan 40, St Helens 14. It's time for the Wigan party to get going. Well, we said, Steve-o, it would be a difficult job to select a man of the match. I think our vote from up here would have gone to Gary Connolly, but the learned writers of the Rugby League press, and who are we to have a go at them, even though they so often have a go at us? But who are we to have a go at them? You really have to take your hat off to Andy Farrell.
He's had a fine game. There's been quite a lot of stars out there. The one thing is that Wigan will have some silverware this season. The fans will enjoy it. But let's not forget the Super League champion St Helens. They've been also outstanding, especially the coach, Sean McRae.
And they're still not done. They're still prepared to run, but that's the forward pass from Bobby Goulding. But Henry Paul's not heard the whistle. Graham West, great. I was going to use the word consolation, but it's one of the 3 major trophies of the season. And how on earth can you call this consolation for Wigan and Graham West? They've only lost 2 games all season. They crucially drew against London Broncos at Central Park. That cost them the title ultimately. Salford, who won the 2nd Division Premiership final earlier today, they knocked them out of the Challenge Cup, which St Helens won at Wembley in glorious fashion against the Bulls. It has been a catalogue of memories that we will take with us through the winter months, and we will come back refreshed and ready for Super League 1997 next March. And these players who have battled through the past 12 months almost without a break. They deserve the holiday that awaits them.
Take a bow, everyone. They really have improved. We said that it would when they went full-time professional. The games that we've seen throughout this season is testament to that. Outstanding at times, exhilarating, nerve-wracking, but it has been just absolutely sensational.
And a final to savour and a match to remember between the top two in Super League. Champions and runners-up. The runners-up Wigan have triumphed here. And it's the third meeting for St Helens against Wigan at Old Trafford in the last 5 years. Saints have just got the one victory to show. 1993 by 10 points to 4, which denied Wigan that day the Grand Slam. Well, Wigan have denied Saints the Grand Slam here tonight.
Little Bobby still trying to the end, a neat chip over the top, just couldn't get to it. Tommy Martin was on, Twigger Marler's on. Beautiful tackle by Hayes. He goes back for a second bite, finishes him off.
Connolly, super. Good defence. He stayed in the field of play somehow.
Outstanding game from Gary Connolly. He has been involved in nearly everything.
Murdoch, he gets it away to Farrell. Farrell loops the ball into the arms of Henry Paul. Henry Paul tries to cut inside Danny Arnold. Skerrett just held up short. Sullivan did well then, so did Steve Prescott. He hobbles back. That could be a try. Danny Ellison gets his hat-trick. And just as Chris Radlinski claimed his first hat-trick in last year's Premiership final, Danny Ellison does the same in 1996.
It may not look pretty, but you try telling this guy. He's done his part. Quick play of the ball, reaches over, plants it on the line. No doubt in the mind of the referee, David Campbell. And the youngster, what a late season for him. Sets off, keeps low, they can't get to him. A hat-trick. What a day to remember.
And you have to take your hat off to Graham West. Graham West, the coach of this Wigan side. He has taken brave decisions during the course of the summer. Simon Horton and Sean Edwards and Neil Cowie have caught themselves in full and glorious Technicolor on our big screen. And that also, Steve-O, has been a feature of this summer, the video screen that we brought with us to the live matches on Sky Sports. And there it is, as everyone taking a look as Farrell lines up this kick. Misses with that one. The last action, and you can see what it means to Andy Farrell and Wigan. Danny Ellison with the hat-trick, Gary Connolly with a great performance. The celebrations start for Wigan, and for the 12th year in a row, Wigan pick up silver. Brave effort from Bobby Goulding and St Helens. The champions played well, but on the night, Wigan just had a little bit too much strength, a little bit too much power, and in Andy Farrell they have got the man of the match. It's all over. Wigan have won the Stones Premiership final. Let's go down pitch side. Bill has got some of the stars.
Down and build this unbelievable replica of the White House.
We're building that at 12 scale, which is over 14 feet wide, and we're going to blow it up, and it'll look tremendous when it goes.
This had to be a world-class product because all the cameras that we're setting up around here are within 10 feet of this particular model. And even though it's an existing piece of architecture, there are still things that have to be artistically rendered before it even gets to the model shop. Then the model shop takes all of those blueprints like you're really building a real house, and then they have to manufacture all of that.
We put a lot of thinking into that. Everything was a mold, so every piece was built like the White House was built, out of single pieces.
The important factor is to make sure that you have a lot of information on film, so you want to make it as slow as possible.
The normal camera speed would be 24 frames per second. It's 1 second of film. We're shooting tonight with 300 frames per second. So that means when the actual explosion takes place, we're slowing it down 12 times. The whole thing looks 12 times slower in the end.
Even though you're shooting 300 frames per second, if I was to use something like dynamite, you would have maybe 2 frames of explosion, and that's it. You want to blow it up in stages, and you want to see the pieces and debris flying out of there. Everything will be falling in front of the camera or jetting out the sides. And all the camera crews are going to be unmanned, and everybody is in a safe position.
Let's clear, please.
When you start to come down to that 10-minute mark, everybody's very concerned because, of course, there's hundreds and hundreds of hours, tens of thousands of dollars, and what we really want to do is make sure that we just don't stub our toe at the last moment. We really only want to do this once.
Roll cameras.
Roll cameras, please.
Stay! Stay! And action!
It is everything that I expected it to be, and everything went off. We didn't have any problems. The timing was right, the debris was right, fireball was perfect, and this is what's left of it.
Okay, now, if it isn't scaled down or blown up when it comes to special effects in Independence Day, it's probably going to be CGI, computer-generated image. Want to see how that's done?
Hey.
Hey.
Blowing up the White House is something that one wouldn't want to do practically, so we figure out how to do that as a visual effect and how to creatively put it together in the computers.
If you could actually go blow up the White House, we wouldn't need to do compositing, but since we don't want to really do that, we have a model and we have all these elements.
My job on this particular shot was to add a model destroyer in the sky and a beam coming down from the ship with particles, and it strikes the top of the White House as the actual model is exploding.
There's really 2 distinct fields of visual effects. One is compositing, the other is CGI, computer-generated imagery. The difference between the 2 is compositing, you're putting the elements together, and CGI, you're actually generating elements. The same way if you were shooting an element, you're actually creating something that didn't exist before.
One of the beauties of compositing is that rather than trying to do everything in camera, trying to do everything live, where you would have to have a model, you'd have to have a spaceship to scale, you'd have to have pyro, and all of that happening at the same time, by compositing in layers, it allows us to choreograph each layer perfectly and then put them together. And it's really all about having control of each element as it goes together. The director's dreams can come true in a way that he can watch it happen on the screen.
The aliens and the F-18s engage in the largest air battle in history, and we needed to put that on the screen.
Squadron leaders, you made the maneuver.
Is the Independence Day CG department that we set up specifically for the show. Computer graphics is the 3D environment used in digital effects, and these animators are here doing all the computer graphics. We have an additional company called Vision Art that's also doing some of the graphics for us as well.
On this show, we had several sets of challenges. One of the biggest ones was the dogfight scenes. We're animating hundreds of airplanes in the air at the same time. To do that plane by plane is just a really painstaking process. It takes a really long time. You have to do not only each F-18 or each attacker, but then each attacker shoots and each F-18 fires missiles and tracers. You've got literally thousands of things to keep track of in the scene. Since we're doing this all with computers, computers are really good at simulating all those things. So we've written programs which do nothing but simulate the dogfight scenes in a way that we have a lot of control over them. Because there's a limited amount of horsepower in the computer, we have to use primitives or these little dots to represent each of the airplanes at first. What you're seeing right now is white dots for each of the F-18s and red dots for each of the alien attackers. It's only stepping a few frames per second. It's only stepping very slowly through the dogfight, and that's so we can tweak each of the individual parameters. As soon as I get the motion the way I want it, as soon as I get the numbers the way that we want it for a particular shot, then I can go in and substitute the real airplanes for these dots.
Our representation of a solid object we call a wireframe, and how you get there basically are points in space.
You can set points here in this 3D virtual environment. And from that, you can go up higher and higher and end up having a real complex model, which we call a wireframe because it looks like consisting of a lot of wire.
The beauty of the wireframe is once it's built, we can use it for any shot. You can put the F-18 flying straight towards you, and we in the computer have what's basically a virtual camera. And you can put the camera in the front of this 3D object, and it looks like it's flying towards you. If you want to go to the side, you get the wings, and you can show the rotation. You then need to take a real surface and basically paint it over top of this texture. And what we do is get actual pictures from all different angles, and scan that into the computer, so it's then digitized, and then took that and wrapped that around these wireframes. The goal is always to be photorealistic. The director very much wanted it to look real, and so that's been our task.
Well, there you have it. Our first hand look inside Area ID4, a building that supposedly doesn't exist, which contains long-held movie-making secrets finally revealed to you, the public. Good night, my friends. Thank you. This is where they keep space. Good.
You should see what people get up to in the privacy of their own home. Sky's 3 movie channels have a lot to answer for.
It's about selecting the right channel. This weekend, Sky Sports 3 begins.
It's about the Nationwide League.
Manchester City against Ipswich. On Friday Night Football Live. Birmingham City against Crystal Palace. On Sunday's Football League Live.
It's about the Premiership.
And it's back on Sky Sports. Southampton against Chelsea. On Ford Super Sunday. Liverpool against Arsenal. On Ford Monday Night Football. This weekend, Sky's biggest ever season begins.
It's about football.
Looks like bad news for the Impton family.
What?
Oh, Marge, it was horrible.
What?
It shall be known as Proposition 24.
What?
I don't see how you can support Proposition 24, Dad.
Wait a minute.
I'm going to vote no on 24.
Will someone please tell me what is going on?
No on 24. No on 24.
Hello? Will someone please...
A brand new Simpsons, Sunday from 6 on Sky 1.
This is the Movie Channel, part of the Sky Television Network.
sorry. Mr. Murray's listening to an audition and can't be disturbed. Will you leave a message? Thank you. Here they come again.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, honey. Got a lot of color on your left cheek this morning. Just a little something to remember us by.
That's awfully nice of you.
Don't mention it. Yeah, don't mention it. How's chances of Mr. Murray listening to the sweetest band in the country this morning?
I'm sorry, but I haven't been able to get you an appointment yet.
Well, couldn't you sneak us in between some of his other appointments?
I'd like to. I really would, but Mr. Murray isn't considering anything but a big name band for Sun Valley.
Sun Valley, not so very long ago.
That's Vivian Dawn.
Isn't she wonderful?
Wonderful. Why, she's... Yeah, wonderful.
And a twinkle in your eye, I remember oh so clearly.
I didn't know her eyes were blue. I always figured they were kind of hazy.
Oh, get her off your mind, will you? You've been dreaming about her for days. It's the kind of girls I dream about. But you should see the kind I get.
Jimmy, at rehearsals, I asked you on the pickup of the second chorus not to do that.
I'm playing it the way I arranged it, Vivian.
Well, I'm going to sing it the way I sing it.
Well, now, just a minute.
What happened? What happened? She didn't follow the music.
Oh, it wasn't her fault. The leader crossed her up.
Who do you think they're auditioning, the band or me?
This band is just as... Miss Dawn!
Now try to sell your band.
Oh, Miss Dawn.
Yes?
I just want to tell you I think you're exactly right. Any leader that would do that deserves to be walked out on.
Well, thank you.
May I help you on with your coat?
Miss Dawn, I'm terribly sorry that this happened. I'm sure it wasn't intentional.
What do you mean it wasn't intentional? If the leader had put his foot out and tripped, he couldn't have done it more deliberately.
I beg your pardon. Who are you?
He don't know us. Are you kidding? How are you? Meet the boys. This is Ted Scott, Phil Corey, and the Dartmouth...